My dear child, there is a moment that changes everything. It is not a loud moment. It is not a moment filled with flashing lights or the roar of a crowd. It is a quiet, sacred moment. It happens when your knees touch the floor and your heart reaches upward with a hunger that nothing on this earth can satisfy. That moment, that simple, humble, desperate moment of reaching for me, that is where everything begins. That is where heaven leans down and listens. That is where I have always been waiting for you. I want you to know something right from the very beginning of this message. I see you, not just the parts of you that are easy to love, not just the Sunday morning version of you with your best clothes and your practiced smile. I see all of you, the tired version, the confused version, the version that cries alone in the dark and wonders if anyone truly notices. I see that person. And I love that person completely, without conditions, without limits, without any shadow of turning. You have been carrying something heavy lately, haven't you? There has been a weight pressing down on your chest that you cannot fully explain. Some days you wake up and the weight is the first thing you feel before you even open your eyes. Before the sun comes through the window, before the first sound of the morning, there it is, that weight. And you have asked me about it. You have whispered into the darkness, God, what is this? Why do I feel this way? And today, my dear child, I am answering you. I am not whispering back from a distance. I am speaking directly into that deep and tender place inside of you where only I can reach. The enemy, the one who has always stood against your peace and your purpose, he would love nothing more than for you to stay distracted. He has studied you carefully. He knows what pulls your attention away from me. He knows what keeps your hands busy while your heart stays empty. He knows how to flood your days with noise so that you never hear the one voice that truly matters. He wants you overwhelmed. He wants you so buried under the pressure of daily life that you have no time, no energy, and no desire to prepare for what is coming. But I am telling you right now, with all the authority of heaven behind these words, that is not going to happen. Not to you, not today, because you are here, you are listening. And that means I have already broken through. I am not calling you to scramble. I am not asking you to panic or rush or perform. I am calling you to something much deeper and much more beautiful than that. I am calling you to be made holy. I am calling you to be set apart, not in a way that makes you strange or cold or removed from the people around you, but in a way that makes you shine, in a way that makes you different in the best possible sense, the kind of different that draws people in rather than pushing them away, the kind of different that makes a tired, hurting world stop and say, there is something about that person. There is a light there that I cannot explain. That is what I am building in you. And it does not happen by accident. It happens through surrender. I am not asking you to pack more things into your already full life. I am not asking you to add more to your schedule or pile more weight onto your already tired shoulders. What I am asking you to do is the opposite. I am asking you to unpack. I am asking you to set down the things you have been carrying that were never mine for you to carry in the first place. The worry that you have been holding on to for months, the fear that wraps itself around your chest every time you think about the future, the offense that you have been keeping alive in your heart even though it is slowly poisoning you from the inside, the regret that plays on repeat in your mind even though I have already forgiven what you keep rehearsing. Put those things down, my child. Lay them at my feet. Not because I am demanding payment from you, but because I love you too much to watch you break under the weight of things I already paid for on the cross. When you empty yourself of all of that, something beautiful happens. Space opens up, and into that space I pour myself, my presence, my peace, my fire. I want your life to be marked by worship, not by worry. I want your home, wherever you live, whatever it looks like, I want that place to carry the fragrance of surrender. I want people to walk through your door and immediately feel something shift in the atmosphere. That is not magic. That is not performance. That is simply what happens when a human being chooses day after day to make room for me. MYKILD. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. DARKISIELD. Let your mouth speak my promises more often than it speaks your problems. This is a practical thing, not just a spiritual one. When you are driving to work and your mind wants to rehearse everything that could go wrong, choose instead to say out loud what I have already promised. Say, He has not given me a spirit of fear. He has given me power and love and a sound mind. Say it out loud. Let your own ears hear it, because there is power in declaration. There is power in using your voice to align your heart with heaven's truth rather than earth's trouble. This is how you prepare, not by watching more news, not by hoarding and stressing and planning for every disaster scenario. You prepare by filling yourself with me. You prepare by building a spirit so anchored in my word that when the storms come, and child, the storms are coming, you do not get swept away. You become the calm in the middle of the chaos. You become the one others look to because they can see that you carry something different, something unshakable. You carry my spirit, and that changes everything about who you are and what you are capable of. You are not just a person trying to survive a difficult season. You are a carrier of the living God. That means when a storm rises up in front of you, you do not just duck your head and wait for it to pass. You speak to it. You open your mouth with the authority I have given you, and you say, "Peace, be still," and something happens. Maybe not always instantly, maybe not always the way you expected, but something moves because I inside of you, and I am greater than anything outside of you. I am calling you to stand up, not in the pride of someone who thinks they have it all figured out, not in the arrogance of someone who looks down on others. I am calling you to stand up in the quiet, unshakable power of someone who knows their God. Stand up in worship. Stand up in the Word. Stand up in prayer. Stand up in the places where everyone else is sitting down in defeat. Stand up when your knees are shaking and your heart is frightened and every feeling in your body is telling you to give up. Stand up anyway, because I have not called you to cower. I have never called you to shrink. I have called you to be ready. I have called you to be built, and the time for building is right now. The shaking in this world is going to increase. I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you because you need to know it so that you are not caught off guard. Things that seem solid and permanent are going to tremble. Systems that people trusted without question are going to crack, and in those moments people are going to be looking desperately for something, for someone that does not shake. You can be that person. You can be a shelter. You can be a place of peace in a world full of panic. But that kind of shelter does not get built in a day. It gets built right now in these quiet moments of preparation, in these daily choices to come closer to me rather than drifting further away. So come out of the fear, come out of the fog, come into alignment with my heart and my will, not tomorrow when things settle down, not next week when life feels a little easier. Now, because those who prepare with me now will not fall apart later, and you, beloved, are being personally invited to build with me. Now, I want to talk about the dreams. You know the ones I mean. The dreams that stay with you long after you wake up. The ones that feel so real, so vivid, so heavy with meaning that you lie there in the early morning light trying to hold on to every detail before it fades. The ones that leave a weight on your chest that follows you through the whole day. You have been having those dreams, and you have wondered what they mean. You have wondered if they were from me or just the product of a tired and anxious mind. You have wondered why they always seem to come in the still dark hours just before sunrise when everything is quiet and your defenses are down. I am answering you now. Those dreams were not random. Those dreams were not accidents. They were not nightmares. They were not attacks. They were alarms. Gentle, divine alarms going off in the depths of your spirit, calling you awake before the rest of the world even stirs. I was not tormenting you in those night hours. I was calling you. I was leaning down close to the quiet place in your soul and whispering your name. Come closer. Wake up. Pay attention. Something important is happening, and I need you fully present for it. I do not always shout, my child. I do not always announce myself with thunder and spectacle. Sometimes I come as a whisper so soft that only those who have trained themselves to listen can hear it. A gentle stirring in your spirit. A sudden deep sense that something needs to change. A dream that will not fade. A scripture that keeps appearing everywhere you turn. A song that plays at exactly the right moment with exactly the words your heart needed to hear. All of that is me. I am constantly speaking. The question is never whether I am speaking. The question is whether you are listening. You have felt the pull to go deeper. You have felt the desire to turn off the noise and step away from the shallow surface of things. You have felt less and less satisfied with entertainment and distraction, and more hungry for something real. That hunger is not an accident either. I put it there. I placed that longing inside of you like a seed in fertile soil, and now it is growing. It is growing because I am coming, and I want you ready. I want you so deeply rooted in me that when the moment comes, you move with me rather than scrambling to catch up. You are not losing your mind. You are finding your calling. You are not falling apart. You are waking up. You are not missing something. You are discovering something. And what you are discovering is the sound of my voice calling you into position for the most significant season of your life. So, do not brush off the patterns. Do not dismiss the repeated signs. That verse from scripture that seems to find you everywhere you go, in a message you heard, in a random social media post, in a book you picked up for no particular reason. That phrase that keeps echoing in conversations and thoughts, that quiet sense of recognition when something spiritual is being spoken, and your whole being leans in as if it already knew. That is all me. I am not confusing you. I am confirming you. I am saying, yes, you heard correctly. Yes, you are on the right path. Yes, keep going. Keep leaning in. Keep listening. What I am about to do in this world will not announce itself on a calendar. There will be no countdown clock visible to human eyes. It will come suddenly, like lightning that splits the sky from one end to the other before you even heard the thunder. And I want your heart so connected to mine, so tuned to my frequency, that when that moment comes, you are not shocked. You are ready. You are synchronized with heaven's heartbeat. That is why I wake you in the night. That is why I stir your spirit in the quiet moments. That is why I interrupt your routine with an unexplainable weight that drives you to your knees. It is me, and I will not stop speaking to you. I will not stop calling you until your spirit fully responds. Come back to the quiet place, not just to visit me there like a tourist stops at a landmark. Come to live there, make the quiet place your home. I am building a secret history with you. I am writing a story between you and me that no one else can fully read because it is written in the language of the sacred and the intimate. I am growing something in you called spiritual sensitivity, a sharpness of discernment, an awareness so fine that you will sense when I move before anyone around you does. And that kind of sensitivity cannot be manufactured. You cannot buy it or achieve it through willpower. It has to grow. It grows in nights of prayer when you would rather be sleeping. It grows in days of obedience when you would rather be comfortable. It grows through choices and sacrifices that no one else sees. The next time that restlessness comes, that feeling you get in the night that makes you unable to be still, do not run from it. Do not rebuke it. Do not take a sleeping pill and roll over. Respond to it. Open your journal and write. Get on your knees and pray. Lift your hands in the darkness and worship. I will meet you there every single time. I have always been there waiting. Because what is coming requires more than knowledge about me. It requires knowing me personally, intimately, without barriers. And I have chosen you for that kind of knowing. You are not one of the ones who simply watches what I do from a distance. You are one of the ones who moves with me. DERKSHIELD. We are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express. MYKILD. Now, I need to correct something, not to shame you or make you feel small, but to shift something in your thinking that has been holding you back. You have been waiting for a moment. You have been waiting for the big thing, the big breakthrough, the big confirmation, the sky-opening, world-shaking, undeniable moment where everything finally makes sense and your purpose becomes crystal clear. You have been waiting for someone else to see what is in you and call it out. Waiting for the right circumstances to finally align. Waiting for life to stop being so complicated so that you can finally step into what you were made for. But my dear child, I need to tell you something that will change everything. If you let it settle into your spirit, you are not waiting for a moment. You are becoming one. The shift you are looking for is not happening out there. It is happening in here, right inside your chest, right in the most hidden chambers of your heart, right in the places that only you and I have ever visited together. I am not holding back destiny until the world around you arranges itself perfectly. I am releasing destiny through you right now in the middle of the mess, not on a stage, not under a spotlight, not after you have cleaned everything up and gotten everything right. Right now. In the ordinary, unpolished, unphotographed reality of your actual daily life. You are not late. I need you to hear that clearly. You are not behind. You are not stuck in someone else's shadow. You have not missed your window. You are not second best. I have hidden you in this season, yes, but not to forget you. I hid you to develop you because what I am building in you is not shallow excitement or surface-level hype. It is holy weight. Speak, it is deep-tested, refined, genuine character. The kind that does not crack under pressure. The kind that only comes from going through the fire and choosing to trust me on the other side. The moment you have been praying for from the outside is already burning on the inside. You are the answer that someone else is desperately crying out for. You are the breakthrough that is coming towards someone in disguise. Wrapped in ordinary skin. Living an ordinary life, not yet recognized but absolutely real. You are the move of God that the world does not recognize yet because it is still in process. It is still being formed, and I am not waiting for perfect conditions. I am waiting for a simple, wholehearted, yes, Lord, do it through me. Let me be even more specific about something. I did not place you in your current circumstances by accident. That job that feels like it is beneath you. That city you have been wanting to leave for years. That circle of people where you feel unseen and overlooked. Those are not your prison. They are your platform. They are the ground where I am preparing to pour through you in ways that will astonish you when you look back. The moment you carry the calling on your life, it is not for someday. It is for now. It is for this ordinary Tuesday, this regular Thursday, this unremarkable afternoon when you choose to show kindness to someone who cannot repay you. When you choose to pray for someone who has hurt you. When you choose to speak truth in a moment when a lie would have been so much easier and so much safer. Those moments are your ministry. Those choices are your mission. And if you stop looking outward for dramatic signs and start looking inward with a willingness to surrender, you will see what I have already been doing. I have been burning something in you that this broken world needs. A fire that started small in the quiet moments of your devotion and your obedience, but has been growing steadily. And I will not let that fire go to waste. That is why the pressure in your life has been so real. That is why the spiritual battle has felt so thick and so relentless, because the enemy can see what is forming in you more clearly than you can see it yourself. And it terrifies him. Not because you are powerful in yourself, but because you have refused to give up. Because even after everything that has come against you, you are still here. You are still reaching for me. And that persistence, that stubborn, trembling, sometimes tearful persistence in the face of everything, that is what heaven cheers for. You are not just one person among many. You are a divine collision point, a place where preparation meets prophecy. You are not just living through history. You are carrying heaven antipos, intention for your generation. And you do not need a public platform to qualify. You do not need thousands of followers. You do not need applause or recognition or a title behind your name. You just need obedience, a simple, quiet, daily yes to whatever I ask. And I will do the rest. I am already doing it now, beloved. I want to speak to you about what is happening in the world around you and in the spiritual realm that you may not see with your physical eyes. When I said I am coming soon, I meant it with every ounce of divine certainty. I do not use empty words. I do not tease or manipulate or play games with the hearts of my children. When I speak, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And I am telling you that my return is not a distant philosophical concept for future generations to think about. It is a present, pressing, imminent reality. I know what you have heard from those who scoff. I know that some people, maybe some people close to you, roll their eyes when this subject comes up. They say that people have been saying that for 2,000 years and nothing has happened. And I understand why that feels like a convincing argument. I understand why even you, in your quiet moments, have wrestled with doubt about the timing. Speak. That is not a sin. That is the honest reality of living in the tension between what I have promised and what you can currently see. But here is what I need you to understand. My concept of soon was never shaped by your calendar. I do not think in days and weeks and years the way you do. I operate in eternity. And from the perspective of eternity, everything is moving with absolute precision. Not one thing is off schedule. Not one prophecy has been forgotten. Not one promise has been abandoned. Every sign that my word described has been appearing and aligning with breathtaking accuracy. The things that seemed impossible just a generation ago are now simply the news. I have held back the trumpet, but not because I am lazy or forgetful or uncertain. I have held it back because I am longing. I long for every lost soul to find its way home. I long for every prodigal to turn around before the door closes. I have stretched the time not out of weakness, but out of love. Love for you. Love for your family members who are not yet ready. Love for the person who has not yet heard my name spoken with tenderness and truth. This mercy is a gift, but gifts have an expiration when their window closes. The door is closed now. Heaven is holding its breath. The scrolls are not collecting dust somewhere. The timeline is not confused. Everything is moving, and it is moving toward one single magnificent final moment, my return. And I want your heart so ready, so clean, so full of me that when that moment comes, you are not scrambling. You are standing. You are lifting your face to the sky with joy rather than regret. You are welcoming me home rather than wishing you had more time to prepare. So what do you do with this? You do not panic. You position yourself. You do not fill your days with dread. You fill them with discernment. You do not stockpile fear. You surrender. Every single day you choose to surrender is a day that prepares you for what is coming. Keep your spirit uncluttered. Keep your heart free from the things that crowd out my presence. Keep your lamp full of oil, not by performance or religion or trying to appear righteous in front of others, but by genuinely choosing me in the private moments when no one else is watching. Because here is the truth about the hidden moments. I have seen every single one of them. Not just the public prayers, not just the worship when you were surrounded by other believers and the emotion of the moment carried you. I have seen the private battles. The times you were alone and something was pulling at you, something sweet and seductive and easily justified. And you said no, not because it was easy, not because you did not feel the pull, but because in that moment you wanted me more than you wanted the pleasure. Those moments mattered more than you know. I want to stop right here and speak to something very tender in your heart. You have wondered if it all counts. You have asked that question in the quiet of your own mind. Does any of this actually matter, God? Does my private obedience make any difference? Does anyone in heaven even notice when I make the right choice in a moment that no one else will ever know about? Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. DRKLD. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. MYKSHLD Heaven recorded every secret yes you ever gave me. Every quiet act of repentance when you could have justified staying in your sin. Every moment you walked away from something that would have damaged your soul. Every time you chose prayer over distraction in a moment of loneliness. Every time you picked up your Bible when everything in you wanted to escape into something numb and easy. Every one of those moments was recorded. Not in the cold, clinical way of a courtroom recording. Speak in the warm, intimate way of a father who loves his child deeply and watches with joy every time that child chooses wisely. Those hidden moments have been building something in you that the world cannot manufacture. Character that has been crushed and refined and tested in the fire, not performance, not image management, not something built for followers or applause, something real, something that will hold under the pressure of what is coming. Something that will still be standing when everything surface level has been stripped away. People in your life are going to watch what happens next in your story and think it came out of nowhere. But you will know. You will know exactly where it came from. You will remember the nights you chose obedience when it cost you comfort. You will remember the days you chose integrity when deception would have been so much easier. You will remember the small, invisible, faithful choices that built the foundation of everything I am about to do in your life. And you will know with absolute certainty that none of it was wasted. Not one tear, not one sacrifice, not one quiet, trembling yes whispered in an empty room. I am not unjust. I am not blind. I do not lose track of what matters to me. I saw the cost. I felt the weight of what it took for you to keep choosing me, and I counted it. Every single act of hidden faithfulness, I counted it as worship. I counted it as warfare. And now I am counting it as readiness. Before we go further, I want to take a moment to speak to those of you who are watching this channel for the first time. What you are hearing today is not entertainment. It is not just a beautiful message crafted to make you feel good for a few minutes. This is a word from the heart of God for this exact moment in history. If it is moving something inside of you, if you feel that unexplainable pull in your spirit, that gentle burning, that is not coincidence. That is God speaking directly to you. And I want to invite you to stay connected to this work. Click subscribe right now so that you do not miss a single word that comes through this channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Someone who is struggling. Someone who feels like they are on the edge of giving up. You never know which message will be the one that changes everything for someone you love. Now, I want to come back to something I mentioned earlier. That urgency you have been feeling, that restlessness, that sense that something is building, something is shifting, something is about to break open. But you cannot quite name it or see it clearly. You have felt it in your chest like a low hum that will not go away, like a pressure behind your eyes that is not quite a headache, but is something, like a heaviness in your spirit that follows you even into moments that should feel light and easy. I want to tell you exactly what that is. That is alignment. That is your spirit beginning to vibrate at the frequency of what I am doing in this season. That is not anxiety. That is not a spiritual attack. That is not you being too emotional or too sensitive or too dramatic. That is you waking up to the reality that the time is short and heaven is serious and the God who made you has called you for such a time as this. You have noticed that you cannot tolerate certain things the way you used to. The shallow conversations feel hollow. The mindless entertainment feels like a waste of time in a way it never did before. The things that used to satisfy you no longer reach the depth of the hunger you now carry. You find yourself weeping at things that you cannot fully explain. In a worship song, in a quiet moment of prayer, when someone shares a story of God breaking through in their life, your eyes fill with tears before your mind has even processed what is happening. That is me, child. That is the work of the Holy Spirit softening you, making you more tender, making you more porous to what heaven is pouring out right now. Speak. Speak, I am unhooking you from the temporary rhythms that have held your attention for too long. I am attuning you to the eternal heartbeat of heaven. And yes, it creates a kind of discomfort. A beautiful, productive, holy discomfort. Like a compass that begins to tremble when it finally swings toward true north, your spirit is trembling because you are closer than you have ever been. Closer to me. Closer to the fullness of what I promised. Closer to my return. And that closeness creates a kind of urgency that is actually a gift, not a burden. The urgency is evidence that your heart is still tender toward me, that your ears still hear the whisper, that your eyes have not grown dull and indifferent. It is the reason you cannot go back to casual, comfortable, lukewarm religion, because you have tasted something real. You have touched the edge of the eternal. You have sat in my presence and let it change you. And now nothing less than that presence will satisfy. Nothing less than the real thing will do, because you know the difference now. You can feel the difference between a meeting that is all style and no substance, all production and no presence, and a moment when heaven actually opens and something holy falls. I am tuning you, refining you, adjusting the sensitivity of your spiritual instruments. And I will not let you settle. I will not let you grow comfortable in a place that is less than what I created you for. So the next time you feel that urgency rising, that burning, that trembling in your spirit, do not try to quiet it. Do not ask it to go away. Lean into it. Let it drive you deeper into prayer, deeper into the Word, deeper into intimacy. Be me, because that urgency is not random. It is the sound of my approach. And those who respond to it now will be ready when the moment fully arrives. There is something else I want to address. Something that the people around you might have called delay. You have prayed. You have believed. You have held on to promises that I gave you. And you have watched time pass without those promises yet becoming visible in your life. And you have struggled with that. Of course you have. You are human, and I understand the weight of waiting. I do not dismiss it. I do not tell you that your pain of waiting is not real. It is real. The struggle is real. The disappointment is real. But what the world calls delay, I call mercy. I have not been slow. I have been kind. I have not been holding back out of indifference. I have been holding space for readiness. I am not simply looking for a dramatic moment to make an entrance. I am waiting for a prepared bride. I am waiting for hearts that are truly ready, not just excited, not just enthusiastic for a season and then cold ready. Deeply, genuinely, unperformatively ready. There is no error in my timing. Not one day has been wasted. Every day that stretched longer than you wanted, every season that felt endless, every moment of waiting that tested your faith and brought you to the edge of giving up, all of it has been woven with intention. I used that time to reach the wandering, to wake the weary, to call the ones who had buried their oil under the weight of routine and disappointment. While some grew cold in the waiting, I was igniting fires in secret places. Places like your heart, like the quiet room where you pray alone, like the moments in your car when you sing to me and no one else can hear. I am not waiting on political circumstances to align. I am not pacing heaven wondering how to manage world events. I am watching your heart. I am watching your surrender. I am giving time for roots to grow deep enough that when the final wind comes, you will not snap. You will stand. That is the mercy in the waiting, my child. That is the gift inside the time you have called delay. And let me tell you something deeply personal. This mercy has not just been for others. It has been for you specifically. There have been seasons in your life when you were not ready. Speak. Speak when your oil was running low, when your devotion had cracked under the weight of disappointment and exhaustion, when your faith was more performance than reality. And I did not come in those moments not because you were not loved. You were loved completely, but because you were not positioned. You were not ready for what I was bringing. And so I waited. I whispered. I woke you up again. I called you back, and here you are, burning again, hungry again, leaning in again. That is mercy doing its slow, patient, faithful work. That same mercy is still moving right now, reaching into prisons where people are crying out from the bottom of their choices, reaching into hospital rooms where people are facing mortality for the first time and suddenly very interested in the questions they spent their whole life ignoring. Reaching into homes where marriages are breaking and people are discovering that they need something stronger than what they built on. That is mercy, and I am the one who gives it. But do not mistake my kindness for apathy. Do not confuse my patience for reluctance. I am not reconsidering my plans. I am not wondering if I should return. The decision is made. The moment is set. And when I come, I will come quickly. The door that is still open will close. The window that is still available will shut. And I want every person I love, every person who carries my name, to be on the right side of that door when it does. My precious one, if these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of Gadantapos, love, please consider supporting this ministry through PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and Gadantapos, word with countless souls around the world. NWCILD. There is something I need to speak about that goes even deeper than urgency or timing or preparation. I need to talk about the longing, that ache in your spirit that you have tried to fill with so many different things over the course of your life. The hunger that does not go away no matter what you put into it. The emptiness that returns again and again, no matter how many people, possessions, achievements, or experiences you stack on top of it. I placed that longing there. It was not the enemy. It was not a flaw in your design. It was not a wound that has never healed properly. That longing is a seed I planted in the soil of your soul, and it was designed to lead you to one place and one place only. To me, it is a homing device. It is a compass. It is a deep and sacred signal pointing your heart back toward the one it was made for. And now that longing is growing. It is not shrinking. It is not getting quieter. If anything, it is getting louder, more insistent, more impossible to ignore. And that is because I am coming, and something in your spirit can sense it the way animals sense the change in weather before humans can detect it. Your inner being knows that what it has been longing for is finally near. And so it aches with a particular intensity that can only be described as holy homesickness. You have wept during worship without knowing exactly why. You have felt your chest tighten when my name was spoken with genuine tenderness. You have felt an ache so deep that the only word you had for it was longing without a name. That is me pulling you. That is the living God reaching through the thin veil between the eternal and the temporary, and tugging on the thread I sewed into your spirit before you were ever born. Others around you may not feel what you feel, and that can be lonely. You sit in a room full of people who seem fine, who seem settled and comfortable and unbothered, and you are quietly undone by something you cannot explain. And you wonder if you are too much, too emotional, too intense, too focused on things that other people do not seem to care about as deeply as you do. But I want to tell you with absolute clarity, you are not too much. You are exactly enough. You are exactly what I designed. Speak. You are anointed to feel what others miss, entrusted with a sensitivity that is not a burden but a gift. The burning in your heart is not a problem to be solved. It is a flame to be tended. The ache in your spirit is not something to be medicated or distracted away. It is the cry of the bride rising up in the earth. It is the ancient prayer of come. Lord Jesus being breathed from the deepest part of who you are. You are part of the sound that heaven is listening for. The sound of a people who long for me, not because they want to escape the difficulties of life, but because they genuinely love me, because they have tasted of me and found that nothing else compares. So let the longing stay. Let it do its holy work. Let it keep you from settling for things that are not worthy of the weight you carry. Let it drive you away from the shallow and toward the deep. Let it make you hungry for things that are eternal rather than things that last only a moment. Because, child, the more you hunger for me, the more I pour. The more you long, the more I lead. The more you ache, the more I come. You have been tasting the future, and it is closer than most people know. Come closer now. I want to say something so personal that I need you to stop whatever else is happening in your mind and give this your full attention. I am not just returning for humanity in general. I am not just fulfilling a theological timeline because my word said it would happen. I am returning with you specifically in mind. When the moment comes, when the sky is split open and the trumpet sounds, and what was promised becomes the most real thing that has ever happened, your face will be in my thoughts. You are not a number in a crowd. You are not an afterthought. You are the joy that was set before me. You are part of the reason I endured what I endured. The enemy has tried very hard to make you feel small and insignificant and invisible. He has whispered that your life is too ordinary, too messy, too inconsistent to matter in the grand story of eternity. He has tried to convince you that the big things are for other people, more impressive people, more gifted and polished and spiritually put together people. And I need you to know from the depth of my heart that every single word of that is a lie. Your life is not invisible to me. It is woven into my divine story. Every act of obedience you have offered in hidden moments has brought me joy. That moment no one saw when you made the hard right choice instead of the easy wrong one. I saw it and it made me smile. Not from a distance like a parent watching a child through a window, from within you. Because your spirit is my resting place, because I have made my home in you. Your story is not a footnote, it is a testimony. Your worship is not background noise, it is an echo of heaven returning to heaven. And when I come again, I will not be coming out of obligation. I will not be coming reluctantly or procedurally. I will be coming with joy, overflowing, uncontainable, magnificent joy, and you are part of that joy. You are one of the reasons my heart burns with holy anticipation for the moment of my return. That is why I have been waking you in the night. That is why the urgency has been building. That is why the hunger will not go away and the restlessness will not leave, and the fire in your spirit keeps burning even when you are tired and confused and not sure of anything else. Because you are not just waiting for a day on a calendar, you are waiting for me. And I am not just preparing a place for you in my kingdom. I am preparing you for that kingdom to live fully and freely inside of you right now. So lift your head, not in pride, in promise. You are part of my joy, you are my delight. When I say I am coming soon, I mean I am racing toward you. You, the worshiper in the quiet room who nobody knows about. You, the intercessor who has prayed through the night until the breakthrough came. You, the one who fell and got back up and fell again and got back up again because you could not bear to stay down. You are not just being rescued, you are being revealed. And I will not return alone. I will return with my family, with my people, with those who have longed for me and loved me and kept the flame burning in the night when the world around them had gone to sleep. You are one of them. And when that day comes, you will know with every part of your being that the waiting was worth it, that every sacrifice made sense, that every tear was a seed, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, was wasted. Now let me talk to you about what it feels like to be in the middle of this process. Because I know it does not always feel beautiful. I know there are days when what I just described, the urgency, the preparation, the refining, feels less like sacred formation and more like plain old suffering. Days when the pressure is so great that you wonder if you misunderstood everything. Days when the gap between where you are and where you thought you would be by now feels crushing. I see those days. I am present in those days, and the first want to address something that has been happening in you that you have not quite known how to name. You have been feeling a slow ache of displacement, like you no longer fit in the places that used to feel natural, like the person you were just a few years ago would not recognize who you are becoming. Things that used to fill you up now leave you strangely empty. Conversations that used to energize you now feel draining and hollow. The rhythms and routines that defined your life before feel unfamiliar now, like clothes that no longer fit the person you are becoming. And you have looked around at the world, at the noise and the rush and the things people chase, and you have felt completely disconnected from all of it. I need to tell you what that is. That disconnection is not depression. It is not something gone wrong in your spirit. It is resurrection. It is the natural and beautiful consequence of a life being transformed from the inside out. It is what happens when the eternal begins to outgrow the temporary in you, when the deep begins to overflow the shallow, when the holy begins to outgrow the ordinary. You are not being left behind by the world, you are being lifted above it. And that feels disorienting, yes. But disorientation is not the same as destruction. It is the feeling of being remade. DRKLL. Every video is created with prayer time and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. My child, you carry heaven in your bones, my child. And the closer I come, the more uncomfortable the gap between what you carry and what the world offers. You feel the tension of holding something eternal in a temporary container. Like new wine pressing against old wineskins. Like a fire that needs more room than the vessel can hold. That is not a problem. That is growth. That is the signature of someone who is being prepared for more than this world can give. Others will not always understand. They may call you too intense, too serious, too spiritually focused. They may be confused by your tears in worship or your passion in prayer, or the seriousness with which you take things that they treat as casual. But I call you mine. I call you awake. I call you marked for this generation. You are not a mistake in a world full of normal people. You are a forerunner, a messenger, a person with one foot planted in time and another planted in eternity. And the world does not quite know what to do with people like you. That is not a problem to be fixed. It is a calling to be embraced. So, do not despise the ache. Do not try to make it go away by fitting back into spaces that I have already called you out of. Speak, do not quiet the fire to make others more comfortable. The discomfort you feel is holy. It is me refusing to let you settle. It is me keeping you from getting too comfortable in a world that is already passing away, because I am making you ready for a world that will never pass away. A kingdom that cannot be shaken. A home that is eternal. And the reason you feel like you do not belong here anymore is because I am making you fit for somewhere better. You were never designed to disappear into the crowd. I formed you in the secret place with intention and purpose and specificity. I knew your name before time began. I wrote your story before the foundation of the world. And I did not go through all of that creative, deliberate personal work just to produce someone who would simply blend into the background and not be noticed. I made you to carry something. I made you to say something. I made you to be something that this world needs desperately. And I know that standing out has cost you. I have watched how people have misread you and mishandled you. I have seen the loneliness that comes with being different in this particular way. The loneliness of being in a room full of people and still feeling like no one truly sees what I put inside of you. The loneliness of carrying a weight that you cannot quite put into words and finding no one around you who seems to understand it. But you were never called to be understood by everyone. You were called to be faithful to me. And faithfulness to me will always look a little strange to a world that does not know me. It will look too serious to people who are still chasing temporary things. It will look too intense to people who have never felt the weight of what I have placed on a human heart. And that is fine. Not everyone is meant to understand your assignment. Some people will recognize it eventually, and some will only understand when they see the fruit of it. What matters is not whether others validate what I have placed in you. What matters is whether you are faithful to carry it. I am calling you to stand up and speak, not in arrogance, not in the pride of someone who has appointed themselves the judge of everyone else and Apos choices, but in the gentle, fire-backed authority of someone who carries the word of the living God. You are not carrying opinions, you are carrying urgency. You are not chasing relevance. You are walking in assignment, and while others are building platforms, I have been calling you to build altars. While others are finding ways to make truth more palatable, so that more people will like it, I have been strengthening your spine to speak what needs to be spoken, even when it is uncomfortable. I will back you when you do. I will anoint your voice. I will cover your trembling with my power. I will walk into every room you enter before you arrive and shift the atmosphere through your obedience. You are not just carrying information about me, you are carrying me. And when you walk into a space with genuine surrender and faith, things change. Not because of your impressive personality or your polished delivery, because of who lives inside of you. So do not tone yourself down. Do not dim the oil to make the darkness more comfortable. You were made to be a burning lamp, and burning lamps do not apologize for the light they give. They just burn. Now I need to speak to something that has been going on around you. In the world, in the spirit realm, in the structures and systems that you depend on. You have felt the shaking, maybe not just spiritually, literally. You have watched things that seem permanent begin to tremble, institutions that felt unshakable beginning to crack, financial systems behaving in ways that make people nervous, social structures fraying at the edges, the ground under things that everyone assumed would always be stable suddenly feeling less solid. And a question has been trying to rise in your heart. Is anything actually secure anymore? Yes, you are. Speak, not because of your own strength or cleverness or preparation, but because I am in you, and I am the only thing that cannot be shaken. The things that are shaking around you are shaking because they were always meant to be temporary. They were always going to give way eventually. I built this creation to wind down toward a moment of completion. The shaking you are watching is not evidence of chaos, it is evidence of schedule. Everything is proceeding exactly as I said it would. What the shaking is designed to do in your life is not destroy you, it is reveal you. It is uncover the thing that cannot be moved, which is my life inside of you. It is peel away the false securities, the comfortable illusions, the things you were trusting in that were never designed to hold the weight you put on them. And once those things fall away, what remains is real. What remains is eternal. What remains is unshakable. You have been more anchored in me than you realize. That is why the shaking has not taken you out. That is why you are still here, still believing, still reaching, still pressing forward, even on the days when everything in you wanted to quit, because the root goes deeper than you know. The foundation holds even when the walls around it tremble. And that is not because of you. That is me in you. That is my faithfulness, holding what your faithfulness sometimes fails to hold. I have allowed this shaking because I love you too much to let you build your life on sand. I have allowed what was unstable to fall so that what is eternal can rise. The things that had to go were always going to have to go eventually. Better that they go now while you still have time to rebuild on the right foundation. Better that the false securities be dismantled now while there is still time to find the real one. You prayed for more of me. You asked for revival in your life and in your family. You cried out for the fullness of your calling. But I cannot fill what is already full of the wrong things. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, and so I shake, I sift, and in the midst of what feels like loss, I am actually doing construction. I am building something that will not fall when the final shaking comes, so do not curse the shaking, bless it. Let it do its necessary, painful, beautiful work. And when it is done, look at what remains. What remains is you refined. What remains is faith tested and proven. What remains is me, as I have always been unshakable faithful right here, and right in the middle of all of this there is warfare. I need to be honest with you about that. The resistance you have been feeling is not just the natural difficulty of life. It is not just stress or burnout or bad luck or Murphy's Law. There is something actively opposed to what I am doing in you. There is a spiritual force that has studied you, that understands the threat you represent, and that is working hard to knock you off course. You have noticed the pattern. The moment you make a decision to press deeper into prayer, something erupts in your life to demand your attention. The moment you commit to a fast, your peace gets shattered by an unexpected conflict. The moment you feel breakthrough on the horizon, everything around you intensifies in a way that makes you want to pull back. That is not coincidence. That is warfare, and not just any warfare. This is the warfare that always precedes fulfillment. The enemy attacks hardest and most intensely when you are closest to what I promised. That is why it has been so relentless lately, because you are closer now than you have ever been, and hell knows it even if you do not feel it yet. The battle is not evidence of your weakness, it is evidence of your positioning. You do not waste ammunition on someone who is not a threat. The enemy does not intensify the fire where nothing significant is forming. He attacks what he fears. And he fears you because you will not quit even after everything. After the heartbreaks and the disappointments and the prayers that seem to go unanswered and the promises that seem to be taking forever. After all of that, you still whisper my name in the dark. You still reach for me when your strength fails. You still believe. That alone shakes something in the spiritual realm. Your stubborn, trembling, tear-stained belief is a weapon of immense power. DARKD, a single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. Beloved KLD, heaven cheers when you lift your hands in worship in an empty room. Angels take notice when you fast in secret and do not announce it anywhere. The prayers you pray alone in the night carry enormous weight in the courts of heaven. You have no idea how powerful your private devotion is. You have no idea what moves in the invisible realm when an ordinary person chooses to press through exhaustion and doubt and disappointment and offer worship anyway. It is extraordinary. It is a kind of warfare that the enemy has no real answer for. So, I need you to understand what is happening in the spiritual dimension right now. You are shifting, moving from one dimension to another, moving from promise to possession, from preparation to release. And just before something is born, there is always a groaning. Just before the dawn, there is always the darkest hour. Just before the breakthrough, there is always the greatest resistance. That is where you are right now. Not at the end, at the threshold. Do not let the warfare lie to you and say you have failed. Let it tell you the truth, which is that you are very, very close. Let it sharpen your discernment. Let it deepen your worship. Let it make your prayer more focused and your faith more specific. And let it remind you that I am not watching from a distance wondering how to help. I am fighting beside you, with you, through you, and I do not lose battles. So, do not retreat now. Do not trade your promise for comfort. Do not exchange your calling for a quieter, easier, more manageable life. You are so close to the breakthrough that if you could see what I see, the angels assembling, the pieces aligning, the doors about to open, you would lift your hands in victory right now in the middle of the battle. Because soon the war will break, the promise will arrive, and you will look back and say with absolute certainty, it was worth every single moment. You really were that close. And I was there the entire time. And now, my dear child, I want to close this message with something that is not just a message. It is a declaration spoken over your life from the throne of heaven itself. I have prepared a place for you that is true, that is real. The home I am building for you in eternity is not a metaphor. It is the most real thing that exists, more real than anything you can see or touch or measure in this temporary world. And I am coming to bring you there. The trumpet will sound, the skies will open. The moment that all of creation has been groaning toward will finally arrive, and it will be magnificent beyond anything your mind has ever been able to fully imagine. But before that moment comes, I need you to know something with complete certainty. You will be ready. I am not building in you and then abandoning the project. I am not forming you and then leaving you unfinished. What I begin in a human life, I complete. What I invest in a heart, I protect. What I call forth from a person, I equip fully for the journey. You were not saved to be scared. You were not awakened to live in fear. You were not filled with my spirit to spend your days frozen in anxiety and doubt. You were born for this exact moment in history. Not the person on television, not the preacher with the big platform. You. In your specific life, with your specific history, with your specific pain and your specific longing and your specific tenacious, stubborn, beautiful faith. You were made for this moment. I know what the world is saying. I know how the headlines scream and how the chaos seems to be winning and how the darkness seems to be growing louder and more confident, but I am not pacing heaven uncertain about what to do next. I am not wringing my hands over politics or panicking about world leaders. I am in complete control. I have always been in complete control. And from that place of perfect control and perfect knowledge, I am telling you everything is going according to plan. Every trial you have walked through, I was there. Every delay you endured, I intended it for your good. Every tear you cried, I collected it. Every stretching season that felt like it would never end, I was using it to grow roots in you that would hold in any storm. Every moment of darkness that you wondered if you would survive, I was sculpting you. Not punishing you, making you, turning you into something beautiful and strong and ready. You thought you were just surviving, but I was building. You thought you were barely hanging on, but I was expanding. You thought you were failing, but I was forming. And now look at you. You are not the same person you were when this season started. You have grown in ways that you do not even fully see yet. You have been refined in ways that will only become visible when the pressure finally lifts and you see what remained. The same hands that formed the stars have been forming your destiny with the same care, the same precision, the same love. The same voice that spoke the universe into existence is the voice that has been speaking into your life every single day. The same spirit that raised me from the dead is the spirit that lives inside of you right now. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand the magnitude of what you carry? The resurrection power of the living God is in you. And with that inside you, there is nothing coming that you cannot face. There is no darkness strong enough to put out that light. There is no wave tall enough to drown someone who has the God of the seas living in their chest. So, here is what I am asking you to do with everything I have said today. I am asking you to stand not in your own strength, because your own strength was never enough and it was never meant to be. Stand in mine. Stand in the power of my spirit that I have freely given you. Stand in the word that I have spoken over your life, even when the visible circumstances do not yet match the promise. Stand in worship even when worship is the hardest thing. Stand in faith even when faith feels more like a choice than a feeling. Walk forward, not perfectly, not without stumbling, but forward into the unknown with the known God. Into the uncertain with absolute certainty about the one who holds the uncertainty in his hands. Into the fear with the one who is perfect love, and perfect love casts out fear completely. Walk forward because I have already gone ahead of you. I am not asking you to step into something I have not already prepared. I am not calling you to a place I have not already been and made safe for your arrival. What you are stepping into is not the end of a difficult season. It is the beginning of forever, and not just a forever that starts when you die, a forever that starts right now. The kingdom of heaven is not only where you are going, it is what I have placed inside of you to live in and walk in and carry in your daily life. The eternal life that I promised is not something you wait for until after death. It is the very life of God pulsing through your spirit right now. So, let your heart rest. Let the fear be driven out by the love that I have lavished on you. Let the anxiety give way to a peace that genuinely passes understanding. A peace that makes no sense by human logic, but makes perfect sense to a heart that is anchored in me. Let the restlessness settle into something deeper, something that is not passivity, but assurance. You know who holds your future. You know who writes your story. You know who fights your battles, and you know that the one who called you is faithful, and he will do it. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not too broken to be used, or too late to be restored, or too far gone to be found. You are exactly where I can reach you, which is exactly where you have always been, in the middle of my sight and the center of my heart. I have never looked away from you, not for a single moment, not in your worst seasons, not in your most rebellious years, not in the moments when you hid from me because shame told you that you had gone too far. I have never stopped watching over you with love, and now I am calling you clearly and tenderly, and with all the weight of heaven behind the invitation. Come deeper, come closer, come into the fullness of what I created you for. Come out of the shallows and into the depths, come out of the comfortable and into the cold, come out of the safe and into the sacred, come to me. Not just to get something from me, come to know me, to sit with me, to let me speak into the deepest places of your heart, the things that only I know you need to hear. The days ahead are not going to be ordinary. The season we are entering is unlike any that has come before it in human history. The things I am about to do in the earth will be undeniable. The moves I am about to make will be unmistakable. And I want you positioned right in the middle of what I am doing. Not on the sidelines watching, in the center of it, carrying it, releasing it, being the very hands and feet and voice through which I touch the world around you. You were made for this moment, not in spite of your weakness, but through it. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you have surrendered what you do not understand. Not because you are the most impressive, but because you have chosen to be the most available. And I will take that availability and do with it the things that will leave you breathless with wonder and gratitude for the rest of your days. So, rest in this. Let it settle all the way down past the noise and the doubt and the exhaustion and the questions. You are loved beyond measure. You are known completely. You are chosen specifically. You are prepared intentionally. You are positioned perfectly. And you are not alone for a single step of this journey. I am with you. I have always been with you, and I always will be. Now go, my dear child, go carry the fire, go live what I have spoken, go be what I have made you to be. The world around you is waiting for you to step into what heaven has already confirmed. And when the trumpet finally sounds and the skies finally split open and the moment of all moments arrives, you will be standing not because you were perfect, because you were faithful. And that, beloved, will be enough. It will be more than enough. Because you are mine and I am yours. And what I have begun, I will bring to completion. Every promise I have spoken over you, every dream I have placed inside of you, every burden I have laid on your heart for this generation, it is all leading somewhere glorious. And I will be there waiting for you, arms open wide, face radiant with joy. Because you, my dear child, are the joy that was set before me. And coming home to you will be worth every single thing it cost. Now stand, now shine, now move, I am with you. If this word stirred something in your spirit today, please take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel so you never miss another message. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who is struggling. Someone who is on the edge of giving up. someone who needs to be reminded that they are not forgotten and not behind and not too far gone. You never know which word will be the one that saves a life. Be the one who sends it. God bless you, dear child. Until next time.